Hey guys, today we're back with the Saving Byzantium series, and we have just finished our conquest of our cores. As you can tell, they're quite ruined still. They're not integrated. They're quite devastated, and we're gonna work on integrating everything. We're going to work on uh, ensuring our control over this land, defeating the Ottomans for the last time, and preparing ourselves to fight our new rivals in Naples and in Egypt, the Mamluks. So the first things first, since the end of the last episode, I made sure to start recovering all of these provinces. Devastation is a really terrible modifier, and so we want to make sure to make this as close to green as possible. So we're going to unpause and we're just going to focus on that, and this is going to be somewhat tedious, somewhat micro intensive, but we're gonna do our best. We're gonna start setting up integrations, and we're going to work towards having a nice and prosperous territory. And we're going to do this for roughly 5 years until our truce with the Ottomans ends, and we can start jumping them one more time, which I do not think we can get a full annexation on them. Maybe we can if we're really dialed in, but realistically, we're going to be looking towards just crippling them. We can begin to look for other targets, but really we are kind of just surrounded by the Ottomans. Yeah, sure, let's canonize this guy. And then, okay. Started the last recovery, and then now we can start working towards integrating everybody. Now, the interesting situation about last time is we also got a marriage union with Georgia, just because they're kind of far away. Marriage unions are not amazing, but they can kind of work as a defensive tool. Now that we finished the remaining stabilizations, we probably want to figure out society movements. I think we were doing capital economy. This guy's not amazing, so we will maybe just put him on integrating something anyways. We have small Turkish revolt, it's not a big issue. And we have the education of the elites law, which I think we researched right around the end of the last episode. Now, I think education of the people is kind of the move if you just want literacy. The only real downside is these satisfaction equilibriums. Now, I'm not particularly upset about this one, because the only reason you want to keep the clergy happy is to get the research bonus from them. So if you can just get your literacy up, that's getting to the same thing. The only frustration is the nobles' satisfaction, because this can kind of hurt your money pretty badly. I think if we look at our population, yep, we do have some very literate pops, I think, because we have a lot of high quality pops in this region. So I'm hesitant, but I think we're going to go with mixed institutions, because we have a ton of burghers, we like innovative, and the artist doesn't help us too much, but I think we should do it just to avoid frustrating the nobles for now. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but my bar is a lot bigger. It's because I downloaded a mod that just expands it. It doesn't like actually change anything, and then I pinned some common map mods that I use. Now I'm getting called in by my good friend Epirus. They're being attacked by a random ass island. Yeah, sure. Let's see, are they gonna raise their troops? I guess I need to do it. Kind of annoying. I do have some regulars. which I cannot see because I accidentally hit all the markers. Sorry guys. Okay, so they are raising their troops. Yeah, I'm gonna see, let's let them take care of that. Nice, they got it, and my subjects are helping. Now we do have a fair bit of money, so we're gonna keep building up Constantinople. The road gardens are not too much of a concern. Here we can also build a cathedral, which I think could be fun. It could. We do have a lot of clerics, so increasing their literacy would be nice, and getting migration would not be bad. Coastal forts could also be nice for some maritime presence. Here we could also just build up our boats for that. I don't like having labor buildings in my cities, but I think what we really do need is some jeweler guilds to make our nobles happy. And we should also start on the cathedral and the royal gardens. As our subject just took some money. Whatever makes them happy, I guess. And we're lowering our traditional modifier, moving towards capital economy. That's good. We still have quite a few years with the Ottomans. And I think we should max out our markets in Constantinople and in our other settlements as much as possible. I think, you know, we're at a very nice trade node. I mean, our income per trade is not amazing, but I think we kind of need to get it as high up as we can. And as the ages move forward, we should get better and better trade. Now we do have a parliament. For our parliament, we probably do want to go with host army exercises. Our crown is like barely above 25, which would probably be good. And there is one law I've been thinking about changing, and it's the, I think it's in socioeconomic state. Yeah, currently we're in favor of the ruler. I think we should move towards favor the wealthy because it increases the max tax on burghers, who are also like super happy, and we can tax them even more. So I think we should go ahead with hosting the army exercises. This gives us the 50%. We can address some complaints just to destroy these bad buildings. Ask for a law change and favor the wealthy. This just means that our burghers, I think, consume more food, which the way you should be thinking about food consumption is it just lowers your pop growth because it lowers the surplus amount of food. But I don't think it's too terrible. Yeah, let's, I guess, destroy some things up. I think we're already spending a fair bit on stability. We are kind of barely breaking even because of the war making our maintenance go up. So we have to keep an eye on that. I think to avoid losing stability we would have to do this. And probably this. We don't want to ruin our communalism yet because we still do need to remove this privilege from the nobles, this privilege from the clergy. Oh, and this privilege from the peasants. Which, how much stability with this one? They already are upset for some reason, so I think we should just remove it. Yeah, we can pay him off a little bit. What's the worst that can happen? We avoid losing our stability. We don't really want to intervene in this war. We don't care about the pirates too much. Don't care about this law. The rebels don't care. We don't care about this. We are missing some pops, but all the people seem to be, I think, assume, yeah, there's a settlement here. So a bunch of people are moving. We're behind this guy, and if we look at our integration map mode, we're still kind of struggling to get any control over this territory. We could just make it into subjects. We do have a ton of Diplo capacity. And we don't have any Diplo subjects yet, so I am willing to do that. My only concern is I already have partial core, so maybe this province will be the only one. I'm really hoping there will be Greek, and then what's the religion? I think we'll be able to get them to be Greek and Orthodox. So we're going to create a subject, a custom subject. Right, so Orthodox and Greek, that's perfect. I'm gonna make them a fiefdom because they're a little more loyal. Let's see, did it all work out? Greek Orthodox, perfect. So they're gonna help integrate this one province for us. We don't have to waste our cabinet members. We do have extra ones because we're in Constantinople, but we don't have that much time as the next war is in 4 years now. Alright guys, I've skipped forward about 2 years. And I've been stockpiling the money, and something we want to talk about is infrastructure and how it's gonna help us spread proximity. So first off, every urban location, which is anything that's not good brown, needs to have temples, which we already do, and libraries, which we're severely missing. So we're gonna mass build them everywhere. These two buildings are super critical. I'll hover over the library just to see what it does. It increases your literacy, your institution growth, and your promotion. And your temples mostly increase your control, but also the unrest and the clergy literacy. These are super important. Now, for other infrastructure, we want to talk about bridges. We have a ton of rivers. Let me show you. Yeah, we have a bunch of rivers in our country. And if you notice, our proximity has to go through a lot of it. So you really want to just build as many bridges as possible. Now, I think we have to be a little careful. Actually, we should just spend all of our money on the bridges. You really, at the end, you know, we're still in the early game, but into the mid game, you want to have all your bridges built, especially in your core area, and into the late game, like, these should be urgent. Another thing to talk about that we haven't had an issue so far is in the various different populations, we have conquered tribesmen, and you can tell they're concentrated in these like new recently conquered provinces. Now, one, they're not particularly productive, but two, they work as basically a blocker for proximity. So you can tell there's these two tribesmen populations here and here. If we were to click into this province, I think we should be able to see that in this final jump between these two provinces, the relative amount of tribesmen does decrease our proximity speed, which is basically how efficient we travel. Now, there's not that many tribesmen, so it's not a huge impact, but if you're in a region with a ton of tribesmen, this will really hurt you guys. So you want to keep an eye out on this map mode. So here there's a bunch of tribesmen. If you're playing maybe as the Ottomans, you should really pay attention to this. The Mamluks have this as an issue. And if you play in West Africa, it's a huge issue for you. And the way you deal with this issue, basically as far as I'm aware, is you want to find a cabinet member with high military. So maybe this guy that we're not using. And you want to get them to settle tribesmen. Now, we do have this action in a lot of provinces, which kind of looks scary. I remember when I saw this I was a little scared. But you can tell most of these provinces don't have a ton of them. So I think I'm gonna first set them over to here. Now I am gonna lose some more money because this guy used to be boosting legitimately, which lowered my cost of court. But I think it's more important. I think we can lose some court. We're gonna build that up. And that is important because proximity determines the maximum amount of control you're gonna have. And so we need to get this number as high as possible so we can make the most money. And so these are the infrastructure build-outs you're gonna have. Now, I kind of did this for the purposes of the video, but maybe you can kind of tell the balance in it. Our market balance with masonry isn't great, which makes it a little bit more expensive to build. You should really be doing this whenever you get the money to. I kind of wanted to hold off so I can do it in one big round for you guys, but if you're playing, you want to do basically, if you're at this point, you have 200 buildings. I know I got a revolt, but you go, oh, what sort of bridges can I build? Let me lay some down, and you want to go from there. Now this is the Turkish revolt we've been bubbling up. I haven't had to repress them particularly, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna call in our allies. Now they don't have any allies, they just want to liberate themselves. We're not gonna let that happen. And we're going to raise some levies. I kinda like not raising my main levies. But I think I'm going to have to, considering that I don't have many other people in my country that really want to listen to me. I know in the last two episodes we've really been focused on expanding on landmass, and so it does look like we're all of a sudden this like really big country, but we are still incredibly concentrated in this one province of Constantinople, in terms of population, in terms of economy, in terms of control, in terms of almost every single number that matters in this game. So don't let the map painting fool you. It is not great. Now I don't want to, for that reason, damage my pops, so I'm gonna kind of let them, I mean, they're gonna ruin my prosperity here, but all of my allies are gonna group up, and I like hovering over this little arrow to see where they're going, and it's not working. Will alive in this province, so I think we want to meet them. And we get a political crisis right as we enter the battle, but we slaughter them. We keep slaughtering them. And we want to finish out this revolt. I cannot. I think it's the provinces that they've sieged down that we need to siege. And our cabinet members are finishing. I don't know if that's because our province has enemy troops in that tends to sometimes cancel actions. But it's okay, we have plenty of things to do with our cabinet members, like settling tribesmen. Let's go take care of these guys. I think we're kind of nearing the age where you want to avoid using levies, and I found the province I've been missing. But we obviously kind of don't have that choice. And you can tell our tribesmen collection, I guess, like settlement, has been going really fast because we didn't have a ton, if you guys remember in the game mode. I think you can also, in this map mode, you can click on these, and typically this little star icon is depending on the action that you're doing, like the relevant number. This is your pop number, so it's not the pop of tribesmen. This is something I, every now and then I watch some EU5 of content creators, and I notice even they mess this up. This is the number of tribesmen, and then this is just the normal total population. So we should do that. We're gonna disband our levies. We're gonna move our regular troops to Constantinople, and we're gonna just drag down our maintenance again. Our ships are doing good, and I think we have about 100 gold. So we should build up some barks. We wanna increase our maritime presence. It's really kind of bad right now, but if we can increase our presence. Is he? I always have okay, so he was hiding in the port. That is, I guess, because we were at war. I sometimes miss that. So you kind of have to check in on your troops and on your navies every now and then. This guy died. We're gonna hire this guy. Oops. Some other guy died. Never mind. Nice. Now, I don't see a lot of people doing this, and I guess when you're a big country you can kind of avoid doing this, but as long as you're willing to pay for some more legitimacy, you can hire a random character, and in this case, this guy's a much better character than we could have hired, so we're gonna hire him. Now obviously, our income's gonna go down significantly for a little bit, just while our legitimacy is building back up, but we're willing to take that. And we have about half, not even half a year, we are waiting to jump the Ottomans. Now, we want to kind of get ahead And we're gonna want to create our casus belli ahead of time, and for that we're gonna need to start sending our spies. We've lost great power status, so you might say, well, what the hell, you're expanding, how are you losing it? Well, all these countries are expanding, but they also have a ton of control, kind of. We have a decent amount of control, but you know, when you go into our tax, it really is just Constantinople. Now, you can kind of tell a ton of the wealth in this is generated by the burghers, or the Astoi. And we are taxing them really nicely. They're still super happy with us, so we could tax them even more. And our inflation situation is under control. So I would love to get rid of this law right here. Even though it does push us to innovative, which is kind of nice. I think we're gonna have to get rid of it. Now this is gonna really piss them off, and it's also going to cost us stability. But I think we're gonna take it. So they're gonna be mad for a little bit, but they're gonna accept it because they're generally kind of happy. Now it does also like lower their equilibrium happiness because the privilege by itself just gave them 5, and we automatically increased our tax rate to get them down to 50. I think that's okay. We do just kind of love giving privileges to our burghers, and that research just popped up, by the way, is going to be really important. I'm about to get into it, but we kind of want to maybe give them this commercial advisory council because we are already pushing to capital economy and our trade is important, and now they're kind of happy. So the research that we just finished was the founding cities research. At some point in the game, once you've stabilized, let me find it. So again, remember my research tree is modified a little bit because I'm playing the 1444 start date, so it's a little different, but this research is in vanilla too. And it lowers the cost of founding cities and towns. The town is more important because a lot of our rural locations are going to need to be upgraded once we have a lot of money. Now, even with this, debuff, the cost is like 300 gold, so it's still pretty pricey. That's with all the material reductions of cost. So, we're just working towards it because eventually we will need it. For other research, though, something I've noticed with this mod is that these institutions kind of spread slowly. I'm not entirely sure if maybe I'm just misremembering how fast they spread in vanilla, but the New World's basically only been gotten by Lisboa, and we're like a third way into the Age of Discovery. The printing press is basically only in Venice, and the pike and shot is only in like a French subject, so it's not great. Now, our minting income does also go down, so you kind of tell the pros and the cons of that privilege. Now, for our next research, I think we should really go for the stability investment, as well as making our clergy happy because they will give us an additional boost. And I think this research is really important, local infrastructure. It just improves our speed. We need to get that. Diplo reputation is important for us. Eventually we might want to move towards this. There's nothing too important here in the previous age. Now we're gonna lose a little bit of money. Now, not actually that much. I don't think we can afford to kill people, so we're just gonna take the stability loss. And we are gonna just kind of have our income oscillate. That's okay. We have a parliament. And I think for this we just want to pass to promote integration because we're integrating a bunch of provinces. And we also just want to kind of avoid losing more stability. So I don't think I'm going to do any crazy law changes. The income situation is worrying me a little bit. Maybe we should have just kept minting, because we should have decent minting efficiency, but I prefer having like a trade taxation based. Economy, we already got our great status back. Yeah, let's lower the rate at which we're legitimizing ourselves. And maybe let's lower stability cost. I want to see, now that we changed our previous law, we are back down under the 25, which is not good. If you guys remember, we did change our distribution of power, so this kind of hurting us. You really want aim to be slightly above 25 because this lowers our efficiency and our income in special trade. So, okay, we're kind of oscillating on the great power status. Okay, so our truce with the Ottomans has ended. We're still building up our spy network, however. We seem to have a lot of cultural tradition, which is interesting because we have been kind of conquering our provinces back. You'd think they would lose it, but I guess they've just been converting. You know, we were able to save most of our Greek pops from being converted. We probably lost some here. And I don't know if we can afford another... Yeah. We can't afford the legitimacy loss. Now, religious-wise, they're also converting, which is kind of bad. We want to stop this, but... We're just building up our casus belli. I don't think we have anything. Yeah, we can. And we're gonna try getting a claims on provinces because it lowers our cost. But our spies are just kind of dragging their feet. What's going on with our... I think we have a disease. Yeah. What is this? Oh, smallpox? I've noticed they keep getting hit by disease. When I've been playing as Byzantium. Not entirely sure why, but... I kind of I lose pops to disease pretty often. Maybe this should be a sign that we should build some more hospitals. I just have one in Constantinople. Or maybe the one in Pro would be nice. Let's do that. And I think it's kind of hard to notice, but because we built these bridges around Constantinople, we are settled the tribesmen. The proximity here and here has gotten a little bit better, which should marginally increase our income. And UE5 is one of those games where you don't make one decision that makes you 100 ducats, you make like 100 decisions that end up like snowballing together. That's what I kind of really like about the game. It's a very like gradual and systematic approach. So we're just gonna keep building up our bridges, even though we can kind of barely, you know, extend proximity. We're just slowly pushing it out. And then once we get the research for proximity done, it's gonna get even better. Now I really don't think we want to waste money on this. Our nobles are getting kind of pissy, but they're gonna have to kind of accept that we're not gonna waste all our money. And we need 4 more spy network for the Ottomans to get a war declared on them. We are gonna basically have to use a bunch of our levies. We can also save up to use our manpower. Now I really don't like the H2 cannons, are not amazing, so we would probably recruit like hand gunners or heavy cavalrymen or something, but we do need a lot of money for that. And we are kind of tight on money currently. I think in a situation like this, we should look at the RGOs. We can build even more RGOs in Constantinople. That's an instant construction. And we have even more Souk and Prausa. Now, not only is the Souk really profitable, but it's gonna make our what do you call these? The tailors guilds in Constantinople even more profitable because we're gonna get down the price of Souk. See, the price is... it's been pretty low. But I think the arrow says it's pointing up. Now this is a really fun event. It's the Council of Florence. We can basically convert to Catholicism and kind of ruin our game. I don't know, our leader is Catholic, so I kind of noticed this between episodes. Now this converts our country to Catholic. It pisses off our clergy. Pisses off every single person in our empire who's Orthodox, who's basically everyone. The Pope likes us, but the Pope is currently under siege in Naples. And we joined the Catholic Church, which is whatever. Now, I don't know if you can tell just based off the way I'm talking about this, but this is a really shitty deal. Now, obviously at some point we might have to struggle with Catholics, but the tenets in Orthodox religions are kind of nice, and Catholicism is not much better, and this is a really huge cost for us to pay the transition. So we're just gonna say I'm good. I think it could be like a fun challenge run to try doing like a Latin empire, like a Catholic Byzantium. But we are kind of just maxing out on our Byzantium LARP. I don't know about you guys, but maybe comment down below. I think in 5 or 6 days, the new expansion is coming out for Vanilla U5, which has a Byzantium DLC. And I'm kind of really excited for that. I never was too much of a Byzantium guy, but especially during this campaign, I've really been into it. Slowly but surely, I've been kind of getting converted a little bit. Now, okay, we got a spy network to 23. So we're gonna start working on the claims on province causes belly. And yeah, we're gonna have to focus on further, I guess. Yeah, and they don't have any forts. The Ottomans have really been getting screwed over by repeated wars with them. Now, military speaking wise, we do have some allies. I think if we look at their actions, we can get an alliance with one guy, and it's Georgia. And it's, I think, because of our marriage, and I think we're gonna do it. We want to keep them safe. They're gonna keep us safe. They're gonna help us with this war. I'm happy for that. Can we hire some troops? Some regular troops? Not particularly. I would kind of love to recruit them because when they die I can refill them up with this manpower pool and they don't like remove my workforce as much. And they are just better. But I don't know. I think here's what we can do. We can take a very short loan. This generally isn't too recommended. And we're going to recruit some more men-at-arms. Now, this is kind of like an easy to miss thing, but when you're recruiting troops, and we're currently not recruiting them in a huge rush, because we did take out this loan, we can recruit them with additional training, which will give them some experience out of the gate. And we can kind of pay back this loan before the war starts. Now that our, inflation is down to 0, we can kick our minting up. And there we go. And now the experience on these troops is the second bar over here. You can tell these are the fresher recruitment troops. They have an experience of 10, which means they reduce their damage by 10, whereas these guys have very little experience. And how you get experience is by drilling your army, which kind of kicks their maintenance up to maximum, as well as it increases the amount of manpower you're draining. But it increases their experience and it kind of keeps it as is, and it increases it. It decays super fast, so it's just kind of something you want to keep up. Also, because to help with our crown power, this is something I should have done earlier, we should put our ruler in charge of our navy. This will not only increase our crown power, I think you saw it tick up on the monthly tick, but it also pushes us towards naval values, which we want to be going down, except we are struggling with that. So we're just... And I kind of overshot how fast this causes belly would process. I think we might even be able to recruit a third men-at-arms regiment if we move fast. But our kind of diplomatic situation is kind of bad. We don't have too many friends, and these two guys are gonna become our enemies soon. Maybe we can try striking something up with Moldavia. They seem to be having a really good game. And I think I saw that we integrate something. Yeah, these guys are gonna have to suck it up. Think we gained some cores on something or not? Probably should have what? Maybe something here? Passively converted? Yeah, basically we're gonna want to take our course here. Maybe we're gonna try getting the Ottomans out of Europe. It's kind of bad because we don't have too much proximity. Obviously here we can spread some. And maybe we can spread some down here. I guess that's kind of... But I kind of do hate the fact we have so much border guard going on. Now, I don't think I can urgently rush down this war score cost tech. Maybe I can just try. But I think we should focus on this noble satisfaction. I think eventually we're gonna have to do some diplo annexation. And maybe that would be a good for now. I'm hoping we can maybe get some sort of like institution embraced. Now we already have like 600 bucks. So we should let me maybe try recruiting some more troops and then we can pay off our loans. Yeah. Additional recruitment. Some more men at arms and then we pay off our loans. Nice. I wanted to make sure maybe we can pay off like... Maybe we can hire a fourth stack too. So I'm gonna move our troops. They must always attack. I don't really like defensive ideas too much. We do move our troops up. All of this spending is gonna kind of go up. Our ships are gonna automatically go to war when we... So they're gonna go to port when we go to war. We're gonna have to fight with these guys. Thankfully we have Georgia to kind of focus them. We have our buddy Serbia. We have Georgia. We have Trebizond. And we have Epirus. Our Greek ally? Oh, sorry, I should have. They all would love to join us, and we're way more powerful than the Ottomans. The Ottomans have like 9,000 levies. They don't have any regulars. They don't have any manpower. So we've got a big war on them. And we're going to raise our Anatolian levies. I think that might honestly be enough. I'm gonna start moving into the Ottoman territory already. Now I know our war goal is for like the European parts, but I'm not too worried about it, guys, just because oh shit. I'm not too worried about it just because we're gonna kinda have to full occupy them anyways. Seems I'm kinda building up some inflation. And yeah, I love kinda taking these exiles events in. It's just kind of a few free pops, and it pisses off the country who you're taking exiles from. But I think this event only triggers with countries you rival to, so they're already kind of hating you. So I really don't see the reason not to take it. Maybe you don't want to like embrace people of like a different culture or something. So we're gonna just kind of move down. We have another parliament we could take. We don't really need like, maybe we can get a war go on the candidates. But if we just research Deus vote, we can probably get a better casus belli on them. Oh, we already do have a religious war. Oh no, we don't. I see. So, I don't know if we want to like waste some stability on getting a casus belli on them here there. I think because we're recruiting a lot of regulars, and you can kind of tell our manpower is draining, I think we should just expand our armory. Whenever the parliament builds a building for you, you do tend to get it for a reduced cost. And by the way, whenever I see a value I like here at the bottom, I am just taking it. My nobles are really pissed though. Maybe I should have been a little more mindful. But I whenever there's a value I like, I just take it even if I don't need the actual parliament support. People have been enslaved. Oh, and they snuck some troops in over with the boat. It's not great. Oh, I really hate when the AI does this, because I think the only way to get back these slave pops is to kind of like conquer them and liberate them, or to like tack it onto the war goal. I think just to show you guys what I'm talking about, it's here. Going to siege everything. And I want my allies to just kind of like siege stuff for me and go kill the Ottoman armies. So I'm going to turn off like sending, you know, what do you call it? Attaching their armies to me. Normally in like the very first battle you want to enable it so that the AI runs over and helps you. And you can have a big scary stack, but after the war is kind of won like in our situation. Now, I think we can just refuse them a little bit. We're kind of keeping them happy enough to refuse and I don't like need the parliament support. The Serbians seem to have kind of sieged down the provinces we wanted. It's kind of annoying. I'm gonna send this guy. I mean, this is like, I think our third war with the Ottomans, and for probably the easiest. I mean, I kind of messed up here. I don't know how it unsieged. It's kind of suck because it's gonna like remove its prosperity. Yeah, maybe we can wait for Serbia to like separate peace. And I think we just finished integrating. Some of our nobles are upset. Yeah, maybe just give him some more autonomy. I don't want to like have a revolt or something. This guy has a bunch more military, so maybe we can have him selling these tribesmen. These tribesmen are gonna be important because if we conquer like Ankara or something, we're gonna need to get proximity through them. And let's see. I think we wanna for sure focus down most of our, what do you call them, our cores. And I always forget, yeah, it was this screen. So it goes to them because they've occupied it. That's okay. You actually don't want to take all of your cores until like probably the last war, because the claim province Casus Belli is really nice. So you tend to not want to lose it. It seems like a lot of the fighting is getting done by our allies, by Georgia. Now, something I noticed is the Ottomans have moved their capital here, which should kind of explain why they're so weak. They have zero proximity in Europe, because I don't even think it's integrated. Yeah, it's not a core, sorry, it is integrated. But they don't have any they have barely any control over the rest of the territory. They're just kind of stuck here in the mountains. And this also makes the cost for us to take land really low, so it makes it really easy to annex them. Makes them very weak. Maybe I might just go sit on their capital so they're more willing to peace out. As long as I don't have any like food issues, yeah, it should be good. I can start cooking up a peace deal. I think getting the coast of Bulgaria could be nice in case I wanna be close to Moldavia and Wallachia. This is actually a really surprising. Hungary normally is really powerful, but not only is Austria doing well, but they're kind of getting tag teamed by Naples and these like subjects that they've been released out of them, I guess. So that's really interesting. It's a very unique game. I think province-wise we want to maybe do something of this sort. No, they actually think that they can win the war, I see. Oh, interesting. A little Delulu, that's okay. Our Georgian allies are doing well, they're beating up this confederation. Maybe do they not want separate peace? No. Huh. Very confident enemies, guys. And we got the war score tech, so honestly kinda better for us. We are missing a cabinet member here. I just have this guy. And our compound is doing good. Why? Because our ruler is sitting in port with all of our boats. We've got some messed up disease again. I think we full siege the Ottomans. I don't know, I'm sure if I'm missing a province, there's some dude in the comments crashing out. Maybe you should take this island of Rhodos. That would be nice. Maybe I can... I'm kind of worried about losing troops to attrition or something, but maybe I can move down to Iran to get a separate peace, and we can kind of farm this confederation for money. Let's see, are you guys more willing to peace out? Seems like also Baghdad is here, because they're a vassal, I see. It's kind of a long march. I guess might as well keep walking. They're giving us these sieges for some reason, so that's kind of funny. Okay, they're willing to peace out, and they're willing to give stuff. Now we could give our friends Georgia some lands. Maybe that wouldn't be the worst thing possible. You know, just because it is a separate piece, we can give them their cores back, I guess. I don't know. Normally I would just take money, but you know, we have these guys in a marriage thing, so I think we can kind of trust we're gonna keep them. And then how about we just take some, maybe war reps? No, so let's cancel, yeah, a couple cores. Yeah, they really don't want to give us war reps. I guess they really didn't care about these scores, huh? Maybe we can just stay at war with them a little bit. I do want to kind of help out Georgia, but there's no point moving our troops. By the time they make it, they're gonna... the war's gonna be over, so I'm just gonna disband my levies, teleport my people back, and I'm gonna move my regulars back. And we have a 100 war score on the Ottomans, so there's no kind of rush. Okay, they've kind of come back to their senses. Let's see, what can I get? That's it. Alright, let's take $7 too. Don't forget the $7. We got our Georgian allies some more cores. You can kind of tell it's instantly integrated. I'm sure they're very happy that they got land that they can like barely spread proximity to, not even. And with the Knights Hospitaller, are these guys subjects or something? I forget. Yes, they're a vassal. I could just like full annex them. It might be the move. I don't remember. Do I have any cores? Probably not. What culture is this? French. Oh. Maybe I can just let's see. Can I transfer them? Nah, let's annex these guys. They've been kind of annoying every single war. We can finish this Rhodops province. And let's take Upper... or maybe, because we know Upper Macedonia is full our cores, we can look to return it. And we're back to this really annoying UI. That doesn't help too much. Oh, see, Rhodos is our core, so yes, that's perfect. Good thing I checked. Krupnik could be nice. Let's see. That Serbia got this. Man. The sneaky bastards, they snuck in. I think these are all like the cores we can kind of get. I think Thessaly would be nice. I think Philip could be nice. I just want to make sure I'm getting all the land. Yeah, I don't want to take that because Serbia would get it. I think honestly we might have to give up on our cores in Macedonia. Like, we're not gonna give up on the cores. We're still gonna get them, but we're gonna have to pay like a normal province price for annexing it. Does Athens have anything? I don't think so. We might have to just like release even more subjects in Greece, which I'm okay with. I think we can also just yoink Ankara. Yeah, I think this might be as far east as we're gonna go. This is at this point like fully Turkish, fully Sunni territory. There's probably a lot better land for me to conquer. I think I can try making some Bulgarian subjects. South the bridge is a little too much. So this is the kind of process that you guys want to take when you're making a piece too. You kind of just try things. You see what sort of LARP you can do. What you're feeling. Maybe we give some stuff to Epirus even if there is no point. There you go. They can have this. Oh, no, it's a little too much. What can I give them? Do they not have a core on this province? Interesting. I guess to give them this province too. I don't know if I'm gonna declare on them soon, but anyways, we're gonna get a bunch of aggressive expansion. Oof. We're actually with a lot of people. So maybe we should have done this while we're still clicking the piece here. We're gonna get our top diplomatic guy. And we are gonna put him on diplomatic endeavors. Now we have our peace deal set up. We're gonna wait 1 month tick. Oh. Yeah, and I think we should get excellent diplomacy for the reputation. That actually came in clutch. We're gonna wait for December. And now our peace deal has severely reduced aggressive expansion, both because of our like really well timed event, but because of our diplomatic reputation. We are gonna get Wallachia against us. Venice is gonna be really mad, but they'll accept it. Mostly the Ottomans and the candidates. Wallachia is gonna be mad though, so actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start improving relations with them ahead of time. And I kinda wanna wait 1 more month. I see a small like noble rebellion is kind of coming up. And these guys are just walking home. Nothing wrong with that. And that's January. How's Wallachia feeling? You guys... I mean, they're gonna be mad for a little bit, but we're already improving relations. I think we'll survive even if they do join the coalition. I'll take all this land. And now we're an even bigger Byzantium. And I mean... This is going great now. A couple issues right off the bat. I think for our cores to become integrated, we do want to wait an additional month. Okay. Now, important things to keep track of. Our truce is for another 8 years because we did get a max peace. Integration speaking, it's pretty bleak. Most of this is unintegrated. This is unintegrated. All our Bulgarian lands are integrated. And if we were to integrate them, we don't have the culture accepted. Can we accept the culture? Pretty sure no, because they don't really like us. Yeah, they don't like us. And if we were to try to accepting them, it would basically be all of our cultural exception. The Turks also don't like us. Kind of reasonable, we've been at war with them all the time. But if you notice, there's despotate of law, which is... Okay, so it's this little subject is the like last Bulgarian country. When we release our own, our subjects will become the most populous Bulgarian country. We'll be able to ask them to improve relations with them. And we'll be able to accept them cheaply. So what we're going to do... And I'm sorry, I just want to double check. I don't want to mess up something. We're gonna probably release these 4 provinces. Because... maybe we can keep one of them. Nah. We're gonna release them as Bulgarian vassals or fiefdoms. Because we only have one fiefdom so far, and it's the one in Turkey. So, Crimson subjects. And this guy, fiefdom. And I'll release one more fiefdom here. Now, the reason I'm releasing fiefdoms is because they get like a +10 opinion as opposed to vassals. But the strength is calculated separately, so you do want to sneak some vassals in there. For example, yeah, we can get this lady in charge. Oh. Yeah, we'll get this lady in charge. And then we'll just make another fiefdom. We also don't want to waste our like characters. So now, integration-wise, basically most of the non-integrated stuff is going to our subjects. Maybe we can kind of piss off Zagore and steal this one province, but we can't push proximity to it, and they can. So they're actually going to make more of it. Then I think we should probably look into releasing this. Although we can kind of push proximity, so maybe we want to manually integrate it. Yeah, actually we might. This one we might keep. This province we can probably figure out ourselves. Now we have this whole big mess to figure out. Culture-wise, we do probably want to release Greek subjects wherever we can. So I think this one we have a good one. I'm hoping that they're kind of nearing the part where they'll stop being Sunni, so okay. They're a little upset because our ruler is kind of an asshole. But so far I don't have any penalties because of the combined fiefdom strength. So I'm actually going to release an additional fiefdom. An additional 2 fiefdoms. And we are going decentralized, so spamming subjects is not bad. Integrating them will be a little annoying. And yeah, this guy is Sunni. What about this guy? Okay, this is Orthodox. So we're gonna have to convert the religion on this guy. This province. Here, the culture is not too terrible, but yeah, I can't get any proximity there, so might as well. Maybe I'll make a vassal this time. This lady can be in charge. How are they? Also Sunni, so I'm gonna have to convert their religion too. And I think we just might have to release a bunch of one province guys everywhere here. Because we're already kind of swamped with encouraging tribesmen to settle, integrating. I think we can move this guy towards recovery efforts, because we need that too. So yeah, I think I'm gonna stop kind of dragging it. I'm just gonna bite the bullet. Another fiefdom here. A vassal here. Let's get this guy in charge. I don't know. I just kind of randomly click them. Fiefdom here. I try having more fiefdoms than vassals just because I don't want to waste my characters into they're a little more loyal. Yeah, I think I did send the guy who I was employing. Yeah, I messed that up. So yeah, we can almost get a coalition. I'm hoping. Oh, I did not notice Egypt. I'm really hoping Egypt doesn't decide to swing on us. Maybe, you know, I think eventually we might want to try jumping them, but they're a little too powerful for us. They're a bit scary. Yeah, we have like equal tax base, but they have double our army, double our pop. And integration-wise, we can probably figure out these last few red bits. We're gonna have to. I think if we go to the religious country map mode, yeah, all of our subjects are like Sunni. We're gonna have to convert their religious things, and we're gonna actually have to now start spending on Diplo, so that our subjects are not particularly disloyal. So God really doesn't like us. But I think we should just improve opinion to fix that. We have the noble revolt, but hopefully it's not too terrible. But I think as our third war in the Ottomans, this might be a decent stopping point for us, guys, for this third episode. I'm gonna try being a little more consistent, but it's kind of tough to fit it into schedule. But I really appreciate you guys watching. Please, like and subscribe, leave a nice comment, let me know what you guys would see me play. I've heard along your comments a lot of you guys mentioning like a trade campaign with Aragon, so maybe that would be interesting. I love playing trade. Maybe just for closing the video we can build up some more silk and some more markets, just to show how much we love trade. Okay, getting our markets up. I think that could be really fun. So yeah, let me guys know. And hopefully guys, I'll catch you soon. Alright, take care.